This Friday is World Malaria Day. You are very welcome. You're on to the press. It's that time of the morning when we have the press on KAFTAN Television, reaching you live from our studios in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. A very warm welcome to you. My name is Mickey, and I will be your host for the next 1.5 hours. So just stay with us. We have a loaded package with a very interesting personality whom we are going to look at. Okay, let's just delve into the front pages of the newspapers this morning, and then we'll take a short break, and then I'll be joined by a guest. We'll be joined by some other erudite guests by Zoom, and then the discussion segment kicks in. Right, let's look at the Leadership newspaper this Friday morning. Let's lead with the Leadership. Okay, the leading headline on the Leadership newspaper this morning is still talking about World Malaria Day. World Malaria Day. And it says here, families battle malaria with 1.56 trillion naira yearly. Right, World Malaria Day, and Nigerian families have to battle malaria with 1.156 trillion naira yearly. So collectively, we all have to spend all that money trying to buy anti-malarials and trying to take anti-malaria injections. That is a lot of money. So a lot more research should be given and attention paid to malaria. Okay, if we could have the Friday Leadership newspaper up, you would see a picture indication showing, mosquito, then there's a red line. After that, they'll show different areas where money is being wasted in the search for the cure for malaria. Let's just roll over to the Vanguard newspapers. In the meantime, the Vanguard newspapers this morning is leading with political stories, talking about 2027 and also talking about the PDP. The lead story on the Vanguard this morning has it that we are not bothered. We're not bothered. It says here, PDP, LP, Atiku's coalition. They are the ones saying it. Let's look at the riders. 2027 between APC and Nigerians, so says PDP. We have Delta defection, mockery of democracy, Abura's LP faction. More governors joining us soon, so says the APC. You'll find out all the details on page 5 of this morning's Vanguard. Why security challenges must be tackled now. That's coming from the Nigerian governors. They set up a committee to work with security heads. So the story goes, why security challenges must be tackled now. Set up committee working with security heads. We have another story here that Air Peace resumes operations as NIMET workers suspend strike. Oh, there's some other stories above the masthead here. It says more Nigerians will become poor by 2027. Who is saying that? The World Bank. Find out the details on page 4, but if you live in Nigeria, that will not be very surprising. Ooh. And NEC OK's new textile board and $90 billion agribusiness livestock development plan. 50 heads of state, 10 monarchs for Pope's burial. That's coming from the Vatican. As you know, the Pope Francis, passed on in the early hours of Monday morning, which is actually Easter Monday, and the burial has been slated for tomorrow morning, Saturday, at the Vatican City in Rome. So we have here that several heads of states, in fact 90, are going to be in attendance at that burial. In the meantime, it has been reported that thousands of people have thronged the Vatican, where the Pope was lying in state. Many people rushed there to catch a glimpse of the world international peacemaker and the man who believed so much in dialogue. May his gentle soul rest in perfect peace. He lived a long life. He passed away at the age of 88. All right, let's look at this day newspapers. Let's see what this day has for us this day. Okay, this Friday morning, this day is leading with more political news. Salaki, no cause for alarm in PDP. Ganduje, 2027 election is a done deal. Is that right? Well, pick up a copy of the paper and find out these details. My goodness. we have here that former Senate President says defection of a running mate unprecedented, a sign of how low we have sunk. Okay, we have Sanwo-Olu at Harvard Marketing in Lagos. That's a Lagos State governor, and he seems to be addressing some senior students there. You want to look at that picture story. There's another picture story above it about the Ogun State governor, surrounded by some very beautiful ladies. Pick up a copy to find out everything. Let's look at above the masthead for another leading headline. Emergency rule. Tinubu defied sacredness and sanctity of the Constitution. Amechi insists. So that is coming from a former Rivers State governor who is also, who was also one of those who contested the presidency against Bola Ahmed Tinubu during the primaries, and the rest is history, as you know. Well, Rotimi Amechi, Chibike Rotimi Amechi, is saying that Tinubu defied the sacredness and sanctity of the Constitution by implementing emergency rule in Rivers State. Okay, let's look at the rider. It says here, National Assembly weak. Government's three arms now reduced to just the executive. Many of our callers have been saying the same thing. Says here, queries Coastal Road Project, declares it lacks due process. You want to pick up a copy of this morning's This Day, and you'll find out all the details right in the paper. Right, let's just go over and see what the Nigerian Tribune has for us this lovely Friday morning. On the front cover of the Nigerian Tribune today, the lead story is still political, and it says here, 2027 won't be decided by the number of governors. 2027 won't be decided by number of governors. PDP. Here are the writers. Damagun shrugs off Delta mass defection, says Obi garnered millions of votes without a state governor. No cause for alarm, will reposition the party, so says Saraki. Presidency mocks Atiku, says political future now bleak. Ikimi berates APC's slide to personal interests. Forum won't surrender to plot of one party, so says the coalition. And there's another picture story again of the Lagos State Governor Sanwo-Olu still in that classroom. This time he's raising his hand in order to be allowed to speak and give out his opinion. Quite interesting there. Well, Rivers State, always trending in the news. We have here Rivers again, Ibas absent at Reps panel. So for the second time, the sole administrator of Rivers State, Ibas, was not present at the Reps panel, which was instituted in order to oversight functions in Rivers. Gunmen abduct 14 passengers in Benue. Despite worsening insecurity, NEC defers talks on state policing. Why was that, you wonder? Isn't our security important? Question. Lagos is investors' delight. Sanwo-Olu, that's still in the papers this morning. Alleged $1 billion fraud. Court permits EFCC to arrest and detain 6 over CBEX. Oh, that's good news for many people who are in hospital, who slumped when they heard about the collapse of CBEX. Well, 6 people have been arrested in connection with it, so maybe there's hope that they'll recover their money. Other stories, the military killed 1,770 terrorists, arrested 3,073 in 3 years across northwest states. That's coming from CDS, Chief of Defense Staff. You see that on page 2. Now, the worrisome thing about a story like that is that the figures really sound on paper, in front of the papers, these sound really encouraging, right? But the background story to it, because we tell you the news behind the news, is that out of the 3,073 arrested, 3,073 were released back into society and were forgiven, like government has turned to God. So now we feel, you know what, we forgive you, so you can go back and you can just go and mingle with society. So that's the part you really want to know. Okay, let's continue. LP crisis. Again, Abure calls out OB for misrepresenting Supreme Court judgment. It's on page 4 of this morning's Tribune as we go right away into what the Nation newspaper has for us at the front cover this morning. The Nation newspaper is leading still with political stories. Damagun, Delta defection shocking, painful to PDP. All right. We have Damagun admitting Delta defection shocking and painful to PDP. So says the Nation. Let's see what the writer has. More governors to join APC, says Gunduje. Party chair receives NNPP senator as well as others. Right, court okays arrest warrant for 6 CBEX scam suspects. Good one there. Edun projects more cash and crude from NNPCL. Now, it's sad how the government will be giving Nigerians some sense of false hope, because currently oil prices are on a downslide. The NNPCL will not create magic. They're not going to produce more money, more cash, and more crude. There's only one refinery working. How are they going to produce more crude? That already is hard to believe. And then you now say they're going to project more cash. More cash when all we have to sell on the international market is oil, and oil prices are on a downswing. Doesn't that, by simple economy, this thing, the price is going down? Less cash. It's less cash. I think what will happen, I'm going to take efforts and bring the finance minister in on this program. Yeah, that's what will happen. We'll have to find out one-on-one, why are we having these conflicting economic models? The price is going down, you're expecting more cash from the thing you are selling. Well, let's continue. I remain Labour Party Chairman Abure insists 80% of FIRS jobs to be performed by employees. So says Adebayo. You'll see an insert picture there of Pope Francis, and it says here 170 nations delegations for Pope Francis' funeral. I told you the funeral is coming up tomorrow. They said the writer says, doctor, he died without suffering. That's exactly how I want to die. This is good news to hear. I claim that anointing. I want to die without suffering. That's very good. At the age of 88, there's a whole lot of suffering because of different health challenges associated with aging. So that's a good one to know. He died without suffering. May I die without suffering. Amen. I like that. Okay. NEC defers decision on state police. NEC defers decision on state police. This is not very nice news Nigerians would want to hear this morning, but so it happened. So we must tell you. All right, let's see what we have on the Daily Trust this day. Daily Trust, here we have the lead story. Says Tinubu's aides and Atiku's coalition bicker over defections. So Tinubu's aides and Atiku's coalition are busy bickering over the defections taking place. As you know, the Delta State governor, the whole of Delta State, including the former governor, all ran away from PDP to the APC. Giving very flimsy reasons, if you ask me, but that's just what it is. So now Tinubu's aides and Atiku's coalition are busy bickering over the state of all these defections. But we, the Nigerians, already know that once it comes to political moments, as we get closer to general elections, these defections, they're so predictable that we Nigerians don't, if we can close our eyes and tell you where people are going to defect to. Oh, yeah, because APC is in power right now. Oh, yeah, you guessed it. People are going to defect to the APC. If you see anybody leaving the APC, that means he never got his share. I didn't get mine. I didn't get what should be due to me. That's when you see them leave. If not, everyone is going to run into. When Goodluck Jonathan, from then down for the 16 years of PDP, oh my goodness, all the parties were going coalition, including LP. The LP had an understanding and a coalition with the PDP. So it's so predictable that any Nigerian can sit in their bedroom and tell you, oh, people are defecting? Guess which party? Oh, yeah, they'll tell you it's APC. APC is on right now. It's all about this thing, the stomach. It's not about ideology anymore. And that's a sad truth in Nigeria. We've got to face it. Or the rest, you can guess the rest. Okay, let's go directly over to News Direct. Nigeria News Direct. Nigeria News Direct is still talking politics, but this time they're taking it from the angle of the Labour Party. The Labour Party is one of those many in crisis at the moment. In fact, we actually have two factions here. So the lead story goes, I remain LP national chairman. No vacancy in party leadership, Abure declares. Warns Obi Oti to abide by Supreme Court ruling, and that story is on page 2. We still have the picture story there of Governor Sanwo-Olu raising his hand in a class, and the story beside it is right there. Harvard lecture, Lagos is investors' delight, business powerhouse. Sanwo-Olu, it's on page 6. Transcorp Power reports 43.263 billion naira pre-tax profit in the first quarter of 2025. That's on page 6. Question, now you've made all that profit, can we have more electricity? Right. Dangote joins World Bank elite group on catalyzing emerging economies growth. NIMET workers suspend strike following federal government's intervention. It's on page 7. Again, River Soul Administrator Ibas shuns rep panel despite Abuja visit. Yes, we were saying it on this program that are they going to now move permanently over to River State? Are they going to be visiting, fly in and fly out? How are they going to be interacting in order to oversight the sole administrator? Well, the sole administrator is doing what a sole administrator would do, acting solely. He is not coming before the reps panel. Thank you very much. That story is on page 2. You want to check it out and wonder, is our democracy really growing? Let's see what the Matrix has for us this morning. Flight operations resume as NIMET workers shelve strike after Kiamo's intervention. More PDP governors are to join APC soon. They like Tinubu. So says Governor Sule. We are pained by Oberewobi Okowa's defection, PDP. World Bank warns millions more Nigerians will sink into poverty by 2027. We have their banner headline. It goes, insecurity, uncertainty as NEC defers deliberation on creation of state police. Here are the riders. Issue will be exhaustively discussed at our next meeting. Diri says NEC remains committed to finding sustainable solutions to insecurity. While NEC foot drags, gunmen kidnap 15 travelers, hijack buses in Benue again. It's really sad. I'm pained sometimes I have to bring all these stories first thing in the morning. It's almost like me again, coming again with all these bad news. Let's go. Let's leave the Matrix right now and let's take a look at this morning's Daily Sun. Daily Sun is making an entrance again on the press this morning, and Daily Sun is leading with political stories, and they are saying that the People's Democratic Party is still in good shape, and it goes this way: 2027, we're still in good shape, PDP. The story's on page 7. Here's the writer, Saraki, acting chair, say defection of governors, others won't affect party fortunes. In other stories on the Daily Sun this morning, it says NEC approves textile board and 90 billion agribusiness plan. Delays state police talks amid rising insecurity. Making you wonder which should have been delayed. Isn't it the textile board that you would have rather delayed and instituted talks about possibly state police because there's rising insecurity? The story is on page 6. If you pick up this morning's Sun, you'll see what the Sun is bringing your way this sunny Friday morning. All right, let's leave the Sun and look at what's on the front page of this Nigeria newspaper this beautiful Friday morning. This Nigeria again has that story about the shelving of the discussion. They put it this way in their banner headline: insecurity, state police talks shelved again. Again, second time in the midst of the insecurity. It's on page 4, but here is the rider. There are actually 2 riders. National Economic Council defers deliberation on police decentralization. Advocates modern ranching as panacea for farmer-herder conflict. Right. So they are saying that the talks will be deferred, but in the meantime, they want to have modern ranching instead of this nomadic cattle wandering about to people's farms and gardens and all that, in order to reduce the conflict. I think that's a good idea. Modern ranching, we've been talking about it all through the Buhari administration. So when is it going to happen, though? Your defection to APC least expected, PDP's Damagun tells Oborewori and Okowa. That is the acting chairman of the People's Democratic Party addressing the incumbent governor of Delta State as well as the immediate past governor of Delta State over their sudden defection within the week. CDS, military kills 1,770 terrorists, arrests 3,073 in 3 years in Northwest. That story we brought to you earlier is also in This Nigeria, and it's on page 17. Let's look at the Daily Independent. The Daily Independent this morning has the same story about the NEC meeting yesterday. It says here, despite rising insecurity, NEC again shuns discussion on state police. OK's new textile board targets $90 billion by 2035 with livestock plan. Farmers lose over 20 billion naira to tomato pest outbreak in 2 months. So there's been a tomato pest outbreak in the country, and right now it's causing heavy losses to Nigerian farmers. So, you guessed it, the writer has just summarized it for us. Skyrocketing prices leave Nigerians struggling. No wonder sometimes you go out and then your stew kind of tastes a little tasteless. Now you know the reason. Let's look at some political stories above the masthead. It says here, APC expecting more governors soon. 2027 is a done deal. Ganduje. Well, that story is coming from the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Ganduje, former governor of Kano, and he is saying that they're expecting more defections of more governors, actually. And funny, I think he's right. Uncertainty in oil prices will impact Nigeria. Thank you. This is from the IMF. Thank you for giving us the right picture. There are uncertainties currently in oil pricing, and it's going to impact Nigeria definitely. That one is a no-brainer. Reps walk out in disappointment as Ibas shuns summon. That's on page 7. PDP describes Oborewori defection as sad and unfortunate. It's on page 6. 2027, governors joining APC won't distract us, articulate coalition. All right, you also have the Nimet strike suspension, making it possible for flights to continue in our airspace. All right, I think it's on that note I'm going to pause. We've looked at all the newspaper headlines before us this morning, filled with a whole lot of bad news. Not very encouraging, is it? Even for me that's bringing the news. It's painful. But you know what? We're going to switch the tone. When we come back after this short time out, we're going to look at something more positive. We're going to be discussing about something more encouraging, more stimulating. So just stay with Kaftan Television. Don't change your dial. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying there. If you're just joining, you're welcome to Kaftan Television. It's the press this morning. I'm Nikki Atta. Right this moment, I'm being joined in the studio live by my favorite in-house analyst, talking about Mr. Richard Oriri. Good morning, Mr. Richard.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, you're
looking so gorgeous.
You are looking like weekend. Your weekend came early.
Yes, I don't know whether you have gone to see Wiki. The way you are looking this morning, it looks you have got to see Wiki.
Well, I went to London to see the Queen.
You see the Queen?
Yes.
That's a Queen Adebayo.
Correct.
Very good.
That is in spirit. Okay, he let the cat out of the bag. Actually, like I told you this morning, after all those sorrowful, heavy news, that's even heavy on my lips to talk about, we want to talk about a very inspiring, towering, wonderful Nigerian woman and philanthropist, talking about Queen Lillian Adebayo. Well, Queen Lillian Adebayo, at only 50, has been described as a walking scholarship board. You know, the whole world was rocked by this, these images when Oprah Winfrey, in one day, dashed out 70 brand new cars to her unsuspecting audience. She just said to people, "Hello, I have a surprise for you today." And everybody was like, what is it going to be? Since Oprah Winfrey loves books, academics, reading. They were expecting 1 volume or 10 volumes of books. Everybody please move out the door and see what is outside. With ribbons, well decorated, 70 brand new cars. Excuse, I thought it's only men that had money. Oh, I thought in America it was only white people that gathered. We're talking about a black person. We're talking about a black woman. Since then, this world has never experienced such level of philanthropy and generosity since Oprah Winfrey. Till today, we now have the woman I call Nigeria's Oprah Winfrey in the person of Queen Lillian Adebayo. It's a pity we won't have time to talk to everybody, whose lives she has affected. But this woman has been described as a human scholarship board. Only her is scholarship board. She gives out scholarship like she's government. She's a government parastatal on her own. This is the first you hear it from her. Quiet, unassuming. Let's look at the photographs of. Let's just look at some images of her. Please, technical, just roll some images of Queen Lillian Adebayo. Then you see the person we're talking about beauty with brain.
Lillian Adebayo, on your Golden Jubilee birthday. We say happy birthday to an extraordinary woman, a shining star of kindness and generosity. May your special day be filled with joy, love, and celebrations. Your philanthropic heart has touched countless lives, inspiring others to follow your example. Here's to another year of spreading love, hope, and positive change. Wishing you a birthday as beautiful as you are. May your light continue to shine for generations yet unborn. Congratulations. The management and staff of KAFTAN TV hereby felicitate the wife of our proprietor, Queen Lillian Adebayo, on your Golden Jubilee birthday. We say happy birthday to an extraordinary woman, a shining star of kindness and generosity. May your special day be filled with joy, love, and celebrations. Your philanthropic heart has touched countless lives, inspiring others to follow your example. Here's to another year of spreading love, hope, and positive change. Wishing you a birthday as beautiful as you are. May your light continue to shine for generations yet unborn. Congratulations.
2024 set into
Right.
State University.
So we had a little mix-up right there. But here we are now with Mr. Richard Oriri, who's going to tell you a little bit about himself being a beneficiary of her benevolence and generosity. Let's hear it.
I said Queen Lillian is she's a quintessential woman.
Right.
And I've known her for years.
Oh, really?
Yes, and I am one of the beneficiaries. I'm not talking just as an outsider. I am talking as someone who have experienced her benevolence. I got my admission into Ebonyi State University in 2023-2024 set. I graduated 2007. And all through my years.
You got your admission in 2024 and graduated in 2007.
2003, 2007.
Correct.
2003, 2004 set.
Okay.
And I graduated 2007.
Correct.
Yes, I graduated 2007. And she got married to Prince Adewale Adebayo. Their wedding was in Agbo. I attended the wedding while I was in school as a student. And she paid my school fees for the 4 years in the university.
Wow.
2003 to 2007 that I graduated.
And today you're a shining product of her doing your PhD. Yes, we call you Dr.
I benefited from her benevolence.
Yes.
And after my first degree, I went in for my second degree, BE-Ed. B education,
right.
That's a MED,
right?
MED in Benue State University.
Yes.
She equally took up the responsibility. She paid the school fees for my first master's degree in Benue State University. So I am not talking as an outsider.
Right.
She is a quintessential woman. And outside myself, I know too many other persons that she has affected.
Right.
And today, here we are. I think this is the first time that she's been unveiled to the world.
We're happy to unveil her right here on KAFTAN television. The world needs to know someone like her.
She's been unveiled. So she's a special woman.
Right.
She's a special woman.
Okay. While we're right there, let's just take a little breather because we have a lot of people whose lives she has affected, and in a split minute we are going to be joined by Nigeria's former Minister for Youth and Sports. He is going to also fill in some of the gaps you want to know about this Nigerian pearl. Just stay with us. Right, and here we are again with our PhD in view. We'll soon be calling you Dr. Richard Oriri. I'm so excited about that day. Oh yes, we were still talking about Nigeria's Oprah Winfrey. Yes. Because, you know, a lot of the people I spoke to said that, oh, she is so interested in giving out scholarships that they just call her Scholarship Board.
Beside the scholarship, beside this, if you look at their lifestyle, her own lifestyle, the husband's lifestyle, I think she is one of the reasons why the husband is where he is. Their door is 100% 24 hours open to everyone that has issues. And from Ondo City to Abuja here to Lagos, anywhere that they know that they have lived before. They have no segregation. Nobody comes to their house and the door is locked. And I give kudos to the woman, because if it is not her type, there is no how the husband will be the way he is living his life. Because beside every successful man, you must have a kind of woman like herself beside such man. And that is purely what they are picturing and showing to the world. And they are living in a very quiet, they are living a very quiet life. And 2 days or 48 hours ago, she was unveiled to the world. Look at the woman behind this man. And everything about her is pure, genuine, and real. And there is nothing artificial about her life. She is pure inside and she is pure outside.
Well, the first impression anyone would have, like me, if she were to walk into this studio right now, all the men would do eyes right. Whoa. But for me, a lady, I will just be greeting. Good morning, my queen. Good morning. I'm like, wow.
She's a true queen.
My goodness.
She is a true queen.
Grace and beauty. Then the brains again.
Everything.
Hey.
She's a legal.
You know, these are the type of people they say, there are some people that God created on Sunday.
And if you go to National Assembly, if you see her in National Assembly where she works, she's a deputy director. National Assembly. If you go to National Assembly where she works, nobody knows so much about her.
I know. She's so quiet and so humble and all that, under the radar. Multi-billionaire for a husband. If it were others now, social media would have broken down.
I don't know that she has a Facebook account.
Wow.
I've not seen her on Facebook before.
I said the first day I saw her was on Monday.
They are quiet.
Well, right this minute we're being joined by Nigeria's former Minister of Youth and Sports, Barrister Solomon Dalong. Barrister, good morning. You're welcome to Kaftan Television, the press. Good morning, Honorable Minister, sir.
Good morning, and how are you?
Morning, Honorable Minister. You're welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Morning, Honorable Minister. You're welcome.
Good morning.
Can you hear me? Let's hear you.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Unmute your audio.
I don't think I am. I'm okay.
Unmute your audio. Increase the volume. We can barely hear you whispering.
Yeah. Good morning.
Morning.
Now, good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Kaftan, and how are you?
Beautiful, beautiful. Very excited that you could join us. Now, we want you to tell us not just your goodwill message, but also tell us a little bit of what you know about our Queen Lillian Adebayo.
Well, Queen Lillian Adebayo is one of my best friends' wife. That's Prince Adewale Adebayo, the amiable bride of the Nigerian politics. I knew her for a couple of years ago, and I knew her through our friendship with Prince Adewale Adebayo. Well, this is a woman that is like a book. Every day you open a new page of her life, and she's quite unpredictable, because it is like every day she stepped down her humility.
Wow.
So when you meet her the previous day and you meet her the following day, you will have difficulty in reconciling whether she was actually the very woman you met yesterday. Her humility is uncommon. She has huge respect for not only humanity, but respect as a core value. She is a very good and a sweet soul. There is no time you visit the house that she will not come down from her room to make sure that you have something to eat before you go. If you visit the house with problems, she has these mitigating smiles She will welcome you with, and before you leave the house, you will be satisfied. So she's such an amazing woman that in contemporary times, I mean, somebody of her status, a lawyer who has served for many decades, she's living okay. She's married to a multi-billionaire husband, but that is nowhere to be found in her life. She associates freely with people. The only thing she thinks in her life is how people feel, how Nigerians are living. But something that amazes me about her most was when she was planning how to celebrate her birthday with women in Akwanga. Her discussion of the predicaments of the common people in Nigeria and the depth of knowledge of what is happening, of course, rattled me. I thought and expected that people of her status will know next to nothing about the predicament confronting the common people of this country. So above all, I will summarize her as a housewife with impeccable credentials, a very humble personality. She is very charismatic in terms of management of human affairs. She is kind-hearted, and she is indeed a mother, not only of her family, but of the entire nation, because that is the reflection of her thoughts every day.
Wow. Some other people I interacted with, they said she is in herself a scholarship board. Can you tell us a little bit about her love and passion for education and promoting education?
If you limit her only to education, you may misconstrue her personality.
Wow.
She just decided to emphasize education because she knew that the only weapon upon which you can liberate the poor is to give them education. And that is why she focused more on education, especially her expansive scholarship scheme, which knew no boundaries and has no respect for creed or faith. It cut across Nigeria. Queen Lillian is a Nigerian by every ramification, because that is who her personality is. She had touched the lives of many, and I cannot, even when we look at her books, we cannot estimate, those that are currently benefiting from her scholarship scheme. We can only just guess that she is touching the lives of many, but we cannot ascertain.
Honorable Minister, sir, right here in the studio is one of the beneficiaries of her scholarship scheme, and as a matter of fact, right now he's on his way to a PhD. Mr. Richard Ariri, please, say something to the Honorable Minister.
Sir. Good morning, sir. The Honorable Minister, good morning.
Good morning, and how are you?
As I said earlier, I am one of the beneficiaries of her benevolence. 2003, I got admission into Ebonyi State University, and the quintessential woman sponsored me through my first degree, through my first master's degree in BSU as well, Ebonyi State University. In Ebonyi State University, I spent 4 years, and throughout the 4 years period, my school fees was paid by the woman, by the honorable, the queen. And during my master's year in Benue State University too, that was in 2016. I entered 2014 through 2016. I finished. She equally paid my school fees. So I'm a beneficiary. I'm not speaking as an outside person. I'm speaking as someone who have benefited from her benevolence. She is a special woman to the world. And thank God, in her 50th birthday, she was unveiled to the world, for the world, or for the whole world to see the special woman behind the special prince.
Right. Yeah, Honorable Minister, sir.
Well, I'm not surprised to hear this because these are testimonies that I confront. These are testimonies that I confront daily. One thing about the Adewole's family is that the two gentlemen there are equal and opposite of themselves. No wonder the Bible says the two cannot be together except they agree. There is a consensus in their attitude to humanitarian services. Whatever the Queen doing, Prince Adewale has the same records on the other side. And one thing about them is that they hate to discuss whatever good that is done to anybody. It is not even mentioned. It is nowhere found. They don't advertise it. They don't popularize it because it is their heart. So if you look at the definition of a queen, whether you consult AI or Google or any encyclopedia,
yes,
you may get so many explanations. But if you want to look at a queen and the definition of a queen, just take a ride to Queen Lillian's house in Katampe and seek audience with her. After that, you will know that this is who a queen meant, because she's not a queen of the elite, but she's a queen of the common people.
Right. Talking about the elite, you know, she has her couturier, her designer. The lady is Madame Mary. Madame Mary Swabana. She is Atampa Couture. Now, Atampa Couture is actually a daughter of the former National Council for Women's Society's state chairman's daughter, also named after her mother. Her mother is Lady Mary Nyong, and she used to run a garment factory called Cunix Garments. Then she now passed the baton over to her daughter, who has elevated it. So now she's the most sought after Nigerian female designer. And she gave a very interesting testimony. She said Queen Lillian, with all her riches, is not frivolous in her spending. Very prudent, she will itemize her bills. You would have thought the wife of a multi-billionaire will walk into, into the dressmakers and just order, pack, send me the bill. They said, no, she's very prudent. She's very exact. You must itemize her bill, and then she'll quietly pay. Now, if that were me, the reason I'm prudent is because I have not hit my target. When I hit billions, my plan is that I'll enter shop pack. But I've learned so much from that testimony from Atampa Couture. Now, a little about Atampa Couture. Atampa is a lady who designs for first ladies. You have not sat in Aso Rock as a first lady, you're not putting on her clothes. She designs for women senators. I didn't say senators' wives. She designs for the high and mighty. She designs for Queen Lillian Adebayo, and confirmed that the woman is not only generous, but also prudent. You can imagine being able to balance the two with multi-billions right behind you. How does she do it?
Lillian is very, very prudent with her personal life, but she's very reckless with charity.
Wow. Very prudent with her personal life, reckless with charity.
Very, very reckless with charity. Because if you hit her door this morning with any charity request, the issue of being prudent is out of place.
Wow.
We'll go out of our way to make sure that she satisfied that need and her urge. When it comes to her personal life, she is very, very prudent. She's very disciplined. And she's also athletic because she's an active woman, as we see her. Many do not know this. She is a boxer. So, when you talk about her, that's why I initially said, Queen Lillian is like a book. Every day you open a new page. We are discussing her tomorrow. We are going to have different testimonies about her life. And I think she represents the future of leadership of women in Nigeria. Humble, honest, prudent, but very reckless with charity. Very, very reckless. I mean, she's reckless. Because when we went to Akwanga, the prudent aspect of her life, she budgeted for 1,500 people, women. She planned how she will personally cook and feed them before she will now distribute palliatives. She made sure that they were well seated, there was sufficient security. That was her prudence. But when we got to Akwanga and the figures swell up, and we were now trying to see how we will amend the distribution of palliative, Queen Lillian became very reckless. And she said, well, we must go out of our way to improvise for those who have found their ways here, even though uninvited. So this is what I was referring to, that when charity is involved, you have just to trust what she's going to do. And you have to be patient with her.
Wow.
Because at that time, she's not going to look at any rule except the rules of humanity.
The rules of humanity, the rules of giving. Okay, let's have the numbers up on the screen, because today, I know, today is not one of those days for us hardcore stuff, because I don't want you to have hypertension with all the bad news. And I too, giving them, I don't want to have hypertension. Today we're talking about somebody who's going to inspire Nigerians. Like the Honorable Minister said, we're talking about a woman who is going to be a model of the future of leadership for women in Nigeria. Talking about a woman who has been referred to by herself as a scholarship board. Talking about a woman that I personally call Nigeria's Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey, in one day, till today, the world has not matched her. Dashed 70 brand new cars to people she does not know from any Adam, to people she was seeing that day for the first time ever. Now we have another lady. But you know, on this program, right? You know, I am someone who tells things as it is. We don't color things. But the way you describe it's like she's an angel. Is there no bads, no downtime? Does she slap? Does she beat? Does she? Is there no downside? Because she's now sounding like an angel the way I'm hearing it.
No, she's not. But I think she's been able to work very hard on her shortcomings, and she managed it so that it does not reflect externally. But she has her shortcomings. Even in her charity, she has shortcomings. Because if she keeps giving, I mean, she's not God. She'll be exhausted. That's a shortcoming.
Right.
So Queen Lillian is not as angelic as we think. She has that human attributes in her. Because in the abundance of good, there also exists shortcoming. Because if she's perfect, yes, if she's perfect,
right,
she'll be able to manage. But let me tell you something about We were traveling with her in a car on our way to Akwanga, and herself and her friend were discussing the attitude of women and how they respond to, the excesses of their husbands. I don't know whether they knew that I was the only man in the car with them. Whether they were carried away, I cannot attest to that. But what she was saying on that day, again, unveiled the type of person she is. She was saying, why would women bother about the shortcomings of their husbands? Whether they are dating other ladies, whether they are living extramarital lifestyle, that should not bother them much, because they should know who they marry. And if you know who you marry, then you should work on his shortcomings and not making issues out of it to the extent that you will embarrass him. And I say, wow.
Wow, even we are wowed in the studio. Mr. Richard, that she said that women should not be overacting to their husband's excesses, even if it goes as far as other women outside. Rather, they should work on his shortcomings and try and bring him up, make him a better person than they met them. What's your take on that?
And that should be the normal thing to do. But in Nigeria, women, they are too jealous. The moment they see that the husband is going the other way, they never want to hear it.
Men are jealous.
Before you know it, some self will even pick knife and stab their husband.
Some men pick knives and stab their wives.
Don't do such. Men don't do most. The empirical review shows that women does that more than men. So, but her lifestyle has shown clearly that that is not the best life to live with a man as a wife. If you see the other side of your husband, and the moment you notice your husband is going astray, the best thing you do as a wife is to see how you put him right, not by quarreling, not by fighting and bullying each other. So, not at all. And that she has shown to us as well, because we don't see quarrel around her, because I can see myself as an adopted person in the family. I've been with them for so long. I told you I attended their wedding. Was it 2004, 2005 or so? Agbo, far away Agbo.
Yeah.
I left Ebonyi State University as a student to attend the wedding. That wedding was with fat. That wedding, the first time in my life that I experienced such wedding. Yogurt was like water. Fish was like everywhere, full of everything. As you come, you can take anything you want to take in abundance.
Tell me.
2004.
Yeah.
2004. Far dead.
Yeah.
So they are too generous, and they don't. You don't go close to them, and you don't eat to your satisfaction.
Yeah, but they dash out car, dash out lump sum of money, not only scholarship. Can they dash out anything? Because the Honorable Minister says she doesn't look back when it comes to charity and philanthropy.
Even I know of some. Look at me here. I am not from Delta State, where she is from. I am not from Ondo State, where the husband from. I am from
Benue State, proud son.
Doma by tribe.
Yes.
So if she can stretch her hand, crossing River Niger, Kogi State from Ondo, crossing Anambra State from Delta to Benue State, and assist somebody like me, who she know from nowhere,
right,
and the husband know from nowhere, that then you should equally know that she can do more than that to people around her vicinity.
Wow.
In Ondo town, I know so many families that the husband will look at your house and put a new structure.
Wow.
And give it to you.
Amazing.
A new structure. He has built for too many people.
Wow.
Put roof on people's head.
These are the type of Nigeria needs. Honorable Minister, sir, so from what I can distill from Mr. Richard's take is that Queen Lillian is very detribalized. Queen Lillian does not segregate. Queen Lillian does not look at social status. Am I getting a right picture?
Well, I will only answer you with how she introduced me at a public function. She stood up and said, well, the Honorable Minister is my husband's brother from a different group. That gives you the line of thought operating in her mind. I looked at the composition of their staff, our own personal staff and official staff, and I also x-rayed that of the husband. And you realize that trusted people who even manage their finances do not come from the same place with them. One of the most trusted allies, the staff of Queen Lillian, is Kefas. And Kefas is an Egong from Akwanga. If you want to see the other side of her, go and play with Kefas. Kefas is everything to her. Kefas is the only person whom she can even leave her children to and travel anywhere in the world. And Kefas is not from Delta, no Ondo. So also Prince Adebayo. The people around him, even those that manages his finances, none are from Ondo or Delta. So these are
put up the telephone numbers, please. Let's have the telephone numbers up. Beautiful, thank you very much. So like I said, today we are deviating a little bit because, you know, we've been having a barrage of all bad news, all the hardcore stuff and everything. So what's going to inspire us? Who's going to inspire us? So it's good this time around we look at a hidden treasure of Nigeria, a philanthropist par excellence, a lady that we are told does not look back when it's time to give it, and especially at this time of such economic hardship and turmoil. Mr. Richard, what would you have to say for that? Because everywhere you go is lamentations. Just today is what, Friday? On Monday, people came back from Easter with more lamentations. How the transport fares had tripled in between the time they left to travel and the time they were even coming back, only to meet food shortages and, as usual, high pressurized cost of living. And here is one woman, herself a scholarship board, herself a federal government, herself palliative giver. You know, when government is going to give out palliatives, they don't count, they don't number people, nothing. They just load maybe 100 bags for 2,000 people. Then you see the scramble. But in her own case, she said that we're told she makes sure everybody who steps into the ground where she is will go home smiling.
I think what is going on, the economic situation in Nigeria is giving her serious concern. And even before the unveiling of herself and the 50th birthday of herself that was celebrated some days ago, she took it upon herself, put her food together, went to a place around the Nasarawa state, and filled complete community. And that is not just one. I can't just count that as just one. The same thing happened in some other communities.
We had the Honorable Minister now in Akwanga, Lafia, where she was overwhelmed by crowd.
And she doesn't feel shy, as in this crowd is beyond me. No. All she do is to ensure that anyone that comes around goes home with something, just like you said. She doesn't. In fact, what is in her is too big for anyone to carry. Wow. If you want to emulate her, you must be very prepared.
Wow.
You must be very, very prepared. because some things or kind of decisions she take about humanity, concerning humanity, is I think it's rare.
These are the type of Nigerian women we want to see. It's not all about putting on fashion. Wow, look at her diamonds. Snap, appear on Instagram. Here is somebody who is quietly impacting communities. Communities. We didn't say her friends. We didn't say her family members. We didn't say her associates. We didn't say her staff. Whole communities of areas where she doesn't even come from. Her husband doesn't come from. Honorable Minister, please, can you give us some other instances? Because today I want Nigerians to really know that within our midst, in spite of all these, our awful politicians, all about myself, my stomach, let me be camp to where I'm going to get cozy. We have somebody who's staying firm, focused, and our focus is on the betterment of Nigerian people.
I think there's a lot to learn from Queen Lillian. There's a lot to learn from her. And I think Nigerians will need to focus and understand her more. She's just exceptionally a personality that represents ideal leadership. Because she has almost everything. She has no business to think about poverty. She has no business to care for others. But her peace and joy is derived upon how she has been able to touch lives. And I think this exceptional attribute is what we lack in leadership in Nigeria. Her humility is a model that must be emulated. The husband also is a very humble person. I'll be with this.
Right. Mr. Richard, you said you interact with them at home.
The husband is
all right, we've got the Honorable Minister back.
Yes, the husband is a very, very humble person too.
Yeah.
When I took my daughter to the house, he was working with his laborers. So we went in and we came out, and my daughter was asking me, who is the owner of this house? And I pointed at him amongst his laborers, and he said, Daddy, you are a liar. I've not told you this before, but you lie today. I said, no, just say you are doubting what I said, but it's not a lie. So we walked towards him, and I introduced her. My daughter lost her balance. It took my effort to stabilize her because she couldn't reconcile what she saw happening there. So I think why they are who they are. One, they are personalities that have recognized the fact that life is vanity.
Life is vanity.
Interested in yes, they are more interested in investing in humanity so that they can appease their creator. I think these two gentlemen are very smart scholars of Matthew chapter 25, verses 31 to 41. If you read these verses, Jesus Christ gave humanity an expo of how the judgment of the last day is going to be. And it is built around when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was sick, you visited me. When I have no cloth, you gave me. I think these gentlemen are driven by this. They are inspired by these verses. So they live their lives every day, making sure that they take stock of how many lives they have been able to touch. We will spend the whole of today and any other day discussing. We may not be able to cover enough field of how far they have gone. We'll only just summarize. we'll only just summarize that they are a rare gift to this, our political community called Nigeria, and we keep praying that we have many people who will emulate them. But I believe that long after they have gone, I believe, oh my God.
Okay, we have a little technical hitch with audio, but he'll be right back. But I was even waiting to ask him, because like he mentioned in our political sphere, we notice, oh, the politicians are very kind, in quote, very generous, in quote, very giving, very benevolent, very, very, very philanthropic, only during electioneering period. We never heard of them giving anybody one shishi. I do not give one shishi before they came into politics. We never hear of them giving anybody one shishi when they land and sit on the office. Like now, all the newspaper headlines today were all about their politicking. We didn't hear about them doing any act of kindness to anybody. But let us enter 2026 to 2027. Oh, rice. The rice you've not eaten all the while will come out. So take this money and go vote for me. Money you were like Aka Aradite will come out. You know, so we see a lot of Nigerian politicians, especially, being very kind, generous, full of philanthropy and charity during election period. Is Queen Adebayo like that? Let Nigerians know. Can you hear me, Honorable Minister, sir?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Am I audible?
Very.
I refer to the Adebayos. Their philanthropy and charity preceded their adventure into politics. When Prince Adebayo celebrated his 50th birthday, we couldn't take stock of the list of beneficiaries of his scholarship. And he joined politics when he was 50. And among the statements he made were that at 50, I have stopped to work for myself. I will live the rest of my life for my people. So you cannot equate them with our Nigerian politicians, whose charity is defined by reciprocity of vote or expected compensation at the ballot. If this were to be the situation with the Adebayos, then the charity they have invested hugely in since they got married over 2 decades ago should have come calling when the husband contested election. But because Nigerians only recognize situational charity.
Situational charity. Honorable Minister, you're giving it a definition.
Yes, situational charity at the polling booth.
Okay.
So you will find out that even those you have sponsored when you are contesting election at the polling booth, they will be expecting you to give them money. It happened to me in 2023. It happened in 2019 and 2023. In 2019, I was in office. And all the little savings I had, I was investing it on constructing a dam for the community because water problem is acute in our community. And it was during election. So when we got to the polling booth, people were telling me that even if you are going to build heaven there, that's not our concern.
Goodness.
If you cannot give us money.
Mr. Richard, Well, the Honorable Minister described Nigerian politicians any situational philanthropy and situational charity. No, I mean, what's your observation?
No, what is there is that he's speaking out of experience. He's one of the Nigerian politicians, and no doubt in what he has said, because like you rightly put, they don't come out without their philanthropist tendency, except when time for election is approaching. And that is to say, they are doing their philanthropy based on something, based on what they will gain.
Right.
It's not just giving out and expecting nothing. They are giving out, but in expectation for something. But in the life of Queen Adebayo and Prince Adewale Adebayo, they don't wait for election before they go out to assisting people. And in the way I studied them is status means nothing to them, but humanity means a lot to them. And in their life, what I've equally learned from them is that in every situation, no matter what, just be nice for no reason. Be nice. And being nice to human being, like Prince Adewale Adebayo himself, the husband, her lifestyle is that once you have the talent, once you have something in you, and he sees that you have the capacity to do something, he will give you the platform to excel. He doesn't like someone that stands to be lazy. If you are a lazy person, not that he will have a problem with you, but he don't like laziness in his life. He doesn't like anything laziness. But if you can stand to do something, say this person do so, even when the person that have given you the assignment is not there, you can carry out the assignment without anyone seeing you, and you are giving out your best in it. He will give you the platform, and you will, in fact, you will be amazed in what you will see. And like our guy here, our boss, Stephen Adewale, it was from one article he wrote. And Prince Adewale Adebayo read the article online that brought Stephen Adewale close to him. Because he sees you that you are a star, he doesn't shy away from picking you and making you to become whatever you become. He will not ask whether who is your father, which state are you from, who is your mother, where are you this, are you Igbo, are you Yoruba, are you Hausa, are you this. That is not in their life at all. Once you have what you can give out to society, to better society, you are made within them. And in fact, I lack words to describe them. I lack words to describe them. They are not politicians, and that is why you see Prince Adewale Adebayo in all his media outings. Right. He doesn't speak like politician. If it is politicians, they will be painting black, white, giving white to what is black, and then giving yellow to what should ordinarily be seen to be blue. But he tells you how it is, and he is not telling you to give you sweet words for you to vote for him or for you to stand with him. He will tell you how it is. Right. Like in 2023, he told Nigerians, this direction you guys are going, it will land us somewhere. And that is where we are now today in Nigeria. Don't just cast your vote because the person that you are standing for is your brother, or the person you are standing for is your political party. But cast your vote for somebody you know that can give you the best out of governance. Right. And not just voting for someone, even like the attitude of Nigerians, now Nigerian voters. Even if they are brothers, if your brother is a convicted criminal, a non-convicted criminal.
Yeah, he is my brother.
He is my brother. And they will go all out to speak and defend the person, even with their vote and everything. But if you see someone that is clean, that has the capacity, the tactical experience to give you what you want in governance, you go out, you stand for such persons. What in Nigeria, that is not the way, and that is not the attitude, and that is why philanthropy, this person, my honorable, they will give you all the names, and they do all that only when it's time for election.
Right.
But now that is no time for election, except those who want to go for second tenure and those who are nurturing ambition now that I want to push this person out. I will be the one to occupy this position, this office now in the 2027 election. They are the one now coming out to be doing one or small things for people to see them as good people.
Little groundnut that they drop. You know, the amount of money a politician spends on electioneering makes all his charitable efforts nonsense. Because they just spend little groundnuts compared to what they will drop in order to secure maybe the party ticket and then to ensure, you know, the rigging into the office. So they just give people peanuts, and Nigerians need to wake up and stop jumping at these peanuts. Right. I know it's been very hard going on the press this morning, but today we wanted to just look at something that would rather inspire us than depress us. To look at people, you know, especially the Queen herself. In only 5 decades, she's made impact of somebody who has lived for 150 years, affecting states, affecting communities, then very humble. I mean, if you're rich and you're humble, it's always a combination you cannot find. If you're beautiful, normally you're very stupid, you know, but this one is beauty with brains. I mean, and then from what we're hearing, being able to, you know, to get their characters molded in such a way that at every point in time they're delivering grace. Me here, I'm a drama queen. Oh, I'm a drama queen, honey. But I mean drama for a good cause. No, I'm a drama queen to just make... No, I'm a drama queen, but for a good cause. But I am so inspired, and this edition was just brought to inspire you, that there is one hidden gem. We've now unveiled her. She's Queen Lillian Adebayo. She is the Deputy Director of Legal Services at the National Assembly. You cannot go to the National Assembly on Monday morning and tell them you're looking for the Queen, wife of a multi-billionaire. No one will know she's the one. Humble, hardworking, and a philanthropist par excellence. We want to say on that note, let us emulate this kind of model in leadership. Our politicians, I hope you are watching and listening, emulate that kind of model of leadership. Have empathy for the people. It's not all about my stomach. Government for myself, my wife, and my wife's friends, and my relations. It's government for the people, by the people, of the people. That's democracy. Okay, I've said enough. On that note, we are wishing her... Oh, please, let me hear your goodwill talk to her just before you leave.
Yeah, my goodwill talk is nothing should make her change her style. She should continue in the path that she's already following.
Right.
There's nothing is as good as being good.
Right. Nothing is as good as being good. Richard O'Reilly, my studio guest. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister for Youth and Sports, Vice Solomon Dalong. We had other guests lined up for Zoom, but that was just as much as we could take in the time frame we have. So I'm wishing you a lovely weekend. That's the last edition of The Press. I'll be back by God's grace on Monday morning. I'm Nikieta. Bye-bye.